I'm your host, Kelly Morgan, indie author and indie publisher. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. Welcome to today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome here. Kelly here. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. And you guys know what day it is. It's Monday because I'm not alone. I've got a guest. I am very happy to welcome author Matt Melvin. He has written a book, Bully Behind Bars, and it's got a really long title, and I'm going to let him get into that because I just get stuck on the bully behind bars part. Anybody that is willing to write about their personal experiences, I always give kudos to, because as you know, as an indie author, when you put your craft out there, it is subject to everybody's opinion, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. So I will stop talking because, like I said, this is the author's mic and it's the author's time. Matt, welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of the author's mic.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So tell us all about the book. I didn't give the full title because I just want you to go ahead and just dive into it. And, like I always ask people, most people want to write a book. Few of us do, and even few of us publish. So you've done all the above. And so I'm interested in your journey and how we got here.
My journey was a long one. It took me 6 years for me to get my story out. A lot of that was tied up in editing. It was very hard as a Trump supporter getting somebody to edit my book. The full title of my book is Bully Behind Bars, a gay Christian Trump supporter goes to prison. The reason I picked that is because it identifies me, everything about me, and it doesn't sugarcoat or put a face mask or pretend to be somebody that I'm not. A lot of people live their life putting on masks, and it doesn't serve anybody. I've always lived by whatever other people think of me is none of my business. And I refuse to pretend to be somebody that I'm not. So I put that title out there so that if anybody disagrees with me, I welcome their comments as long as it's done in a rational, calm, collective manner. But make sure you have your facts and not just feelings.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to things like the title of your book, probably the subject matter, subject to opinion, I'm pretty sure that you've probably gotten mixed reviews as far as opinions go. Some people are there with you, some people are probably way on the other side. But the fact of the matter is, where I'm going to go with you with this is the fact that you even decided to even go down this road and publish it. So it's one thing to sit with it and write it, right? And you said it took you 6 years with the writing and the editing and everything. And now it's been published. I think you said you told me 2022, right? So it's been
February
out there. It's been
2022.
out there for a while. The book's been out there for a while. And I'm interested in like what made you actually decide to publish this? Like, why would you put this out there, knowing that the backlash that you could get, right? Just putting anytime I think anybody puts anything of theirs out in the world for opinion, you've always got to be ready to deal with somebody who doesn't like it, right? Who's going to have a completely opposite view toward what you wrote. A review, one would say. Reviews are tough, good or, especially the bad ones, because I've had bad reviews on my books. But I feel like maybe with yours, maybe it went beyond a review and it even probably got a little personal. That's what I'm saying. So you decided to go ahead and put that out there. I find it incredibly fantastic because it probably took a lot of courage. And I'm just wanting to know, like, what made you do that, and how has that been since the book has been published?
The reason I wanted to put my story out is to make the world aware that corruption occurred in the small town of Shelburne, Vermont. Corruption just doesn't occur in the major cities. It's happening today in Shelburne, Vermont. It is a unique story that I think the world needs to hear. I was held accountable for my actions, and now I'm holding those people who put me in jail and responsible for their actions.
So, in that instance, the time that the book has been published, has it yielded the results that you have hoped?
Not even close. Sales have been very, very slow.
And so where, let's talk about it. Where is the book available? How can people get it? And then, what is there any follow-up to the book? I'm interested. It's just a one and done. Do you have a copy of the book? I'd love to see it. Do you have one with you?
I don't have a physical copy of my book. If you go to my website, bulliedbehindbars.com, you can see the front and back of my book. It's on Amazon. You can purchase it.
So let's talk about it, Matt. So you're saying that bully behind bars. So obviously, came a time in your life where you went to prison, and then when you were behind bars, when you were locked up, obviously you experienced bullying and whatever. But I'm interested in like how did we get there? You don't just seem like the type, I mean, criminal type, not trying to stereotype, but I'm interested like the story and were you younger when this happened? Were you a teenager when this happened? Were you an adult when this happened? Like, how far back in your life are we going? And what did those experiences, how did they shape you and your views today?
In 2004, I worked at a car dealership, Freedom Nissan in South Burlington, Vermont. They didn't pay me my commissions. I impulsively chose to try to sell one of their cars, got caught, went through the traditional court because Judge Jeffrey Crawford and Bob Wolford both decided I didn't meet the criteria to go through the mental health court. If I had been allowed to go through the mental health court, I may not have a record today. But instead, I came out with a background, couldn't find a job. As a result, I used other people's information to work. The government then pursued me for 6 years, got a grand jury indictment in 2016, and I did another 18 months. I did 18 months the first time and 18 months the second time. Went to 10 different institutions, was raped, bullied, attacked, had my journal entries stolen. And I wanted to share my testimony about how I found Jesus. I had a near death experience in August 2015 where I was almost run off the road by an out of control driver. And that was when I turned my life over to God and started doing God's will instead of my own will. Stop being dishonest, living a more godly lifestyle. And this story is a real transformation of my life and how I found God.
So the book is more of a redemption story to how you are living your life today versus how you were living your life then, and all of the things that you went through to get to where you are now. And so
Yes.
it sounds to me like you've come out better on the other side. Yes?
We all have challenges. It's how we overcome those. A lot of people might dwell in the past. I choose not to dwell in the past and move on. I've forgiven everybody who's done wrong to me, and I've moved on.
And so, Matt, if people want to connect with you, you mentioned that you have a website, the book's on Amazon. If people want to connect with you, if they're interested in the story and maybe learning more about you, how do we go about doing that?
I'm on social media, Bullied Behind Bars on Instagram, Bars Bullied on X, Matthew.Melvin.5621 on Facebook. You can purchase my book on Amazon. You can email me, bulliedbehindbars@gmail.com.
So you had mentioned that all of these different things happened to you when you were behind bars and you wrote the journal, and that you wrote the story in hopes that those that wronged you would be held accountable. Is that correct?
I want to share my story and share with the world that this can happen anywhere. And I will not back down to bullies, and I hold everybody accountable for their own actions. I was held accountable. I was indicted twice. And now it's time for the other people to be held accountable for their actions, Kelly.
Understood. Yeah, I get that. I can completely get that. I got to ask you, did you self-publish the book?
I did, yes.
And so what was that like? I mean, is it you said that you went through a long editing process because you had a hard time somebody wanting to actually edit this book for you. What did that look like? How long did that take? And before you was it you too? Like not maybe liking what people were wanting to edit out? I mean, how big was your voice in that process?
There were a lot of people who felt that I should remove Trump out of the title. There were a lot of people who felt I should remove the actual names of people in law enforcement, judges, lawyers. And I have never backed down to anyone or tried to change the actual story to appease other people.
So, would you say that the story, because you're naming names, and I guess you say you're telling facts, is the story 100% from your lens, or are you giving us maybe a broader eye view of the situation, or is it truly we're looking at it as if we are, through Matt's eyes, your
It's through
experience?
Matt's eyes. It's 100% accurate. It's not twisted so it will make me look good. You understand what I'm saying
I
by
do.
that?
I do.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that that's really apparent, that it's not I don't try to skew the story so it favors me. I I made mistakes. Absolutely. You know, without my breaking the law the first time, I wouldn't have a story to tell.
Yeah.
But at the same token, without that mistake, I don't know if I would have the relationship I have with God today because I was a lukewarm Christian. I viewed God as someone that I needed when I was in crisis. And a lot of people see that. They only go to God when they need help. And that's not how God operates.
I would agree. I would agree. Let me give my laundry list of things before we let you go. So, everybody, as you know, as always, if you are looking to write a book, you can always go to my website and get the free guide. So, you want to write a book, it's free. Go get it, 44 pages. If you are interested in sharing this space and being an author on the author's mic like Matt, it's very easy. You can go to the website, go to the Be a Guest tab, fill out the information. Boom, you are a guest. I promise you, it is that easy. If you are interested in supporting me, I have two books out there. Wait for it and You Sound White, but no pressure. You can get them wherever books are sold, but I will ship them to you at no charge. And lastly, two things. We have a book club. It's called the IRS. You can pitch us as an author to see if we will read your book. We only support indie authors, or you can join us as a reader. Either way, we'd love to have you. All the information is on the website. So, Matt, you had mentioned something about you never back down. You were always true to yourself. You always stay true to your beliefs. So, if you could give advice to one person out there that said, "Okay, yeah, Matt, you wrote this book, and you had the courage to do it, but I got to tell you, how did you muster up? What could you tell to somebody who maybe has a story that they want to tell, like you, and maybe don't have the courage to tell it, but maybe hearing you are like getting inspired, like, well, he did it, so can I." What would you tell somebody who's struggling with that? You obviously took the leap and wrote it. What would you tell to somebody else?
Get out of comfort, do uncomfortable things, have the courage, have the muster to get out of your comfort zone, share your story. Don't worry about what other people think of you. What other people think of you is none of your business. Surround yourself with people that will hold you accountable for what you want to do.